Hello. Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Saturday. Can you all hear me? Please answer with a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, because I've had sound issues with this rickety old computer from the prehistoric age. Can you all hear me? Uh-oh. Can you all hear me? Okay. Uh-oh. Okay. Can you all hear me? Oh, excellent. Okay. Got a sign of life. We all like a sign of life. Hey, Tammy. So who's here? Christina, Michelle, Tammy, Michael B. Sweaty-Arse. Okay, cool. Cool. Michael B. Sweaty-Arse, Michelle, Christina, Tammy. Welcome welcome to all lurkers as well. Welcome to Straight Talkin' Fedora Chic. If you're new here, we're a commentary channel. And if you're into that kind of thing, please consider subscribing. More often than not, my opinions are very unpopular, but I have a saying. Just because something is not popular doesn't mean it is not correct. Hey, Black Tulip, good to have you along for the ride. Yeah, so, yeah, that's it. Hey, Laura Lulu, Miss MacGyver. Great to have you all along for the ride. Okay, so like I said, just because something is not popular doesn't mean it is incorrect. So, yeah, my opinions are quite unpopular. Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Your ears are probably burning. Hey, Costelli, good to have you. But here's the thing. Hey, damn Danny, glad to have you. Here's the joke, Michael B. Sweaty-Arse. We're not going to be talking about Clara right now. We're not going to be talking about Clara. No. Shady booty. Oh, wow. Okay, we're having a great turnout. Excellent. So, no, we are doing a reaction. Okay, just a brief overview for the reaction. I think most of you know who Obese to Beast is. The new DC was great. It should have been 20 minutes, not 2. Yeah, but it was originally not supposed to be. Hey, Kathy, great to have you. Here's the thing, Shady. It wasn't meant to be on my channel. So it was unlisted. It was sitting there for a while in my dashboard for a while as a private, because it was originally supposed to be a submission to Belinda over at Hater Nation News Network for a weather report, for one of her weather reports. But it turns out her technology, my technology, and we couldn't get it together. So I thought today I'd put it up, in light of, I thought I'd put it up in light of what's going on. So yeah, so since that's already up, and I put it up about an hour and a half ago, I made it public, rather, I should say is the better term. I just made something public, made that video public. So we're not going to be talking to her. So today, yeah, back to what I was saying. Most of you, I think, know who John from Obese to Beast is. I'm not going to be reacting to the entire video because it's long. His video is an hour and a half. So I'm not going to react to the whole thing, okay? I'm going to be here all afternoon. Hey, Spirit in the Sky Blue. Yeah. So I'm not going to be... we're going to be here all afternoon if I react to the whole thing, because we know when I do commentary and a reaction, well, you know how it goes. We're going to be here all afternoon. So we're going to react to it partially, and I just want to give an overview. Obese to Beast is a guy who was once morbidly obese, but lost a lot of weight to look as he does now. He's very much into health and fitness. His channel reflects as much. He does vlogs, he does commentary from the point of view of somebody who did go through the struggle of obesity to where he is now and the challenges. Obese to Beast is, like I said, I don't always agree with what he says, so let's get one of the things just to know from where I come. I don't always agree with everything he says, but overall, I like the guy. He's okay. He's likable. He's relatable. He's humble, and he doesn't get mean. You know what I mean? And the poor guy. You know, if he was to talk about an obese YouTuber, he could get a lot of nastiness. Here's the thing. It stems from Abbey Sharp. Abbey Sharp, for those of you who don't know, she's a Canadian dietitian and a food blogger. She has a channel called Abby's Kitchen. Now, overall, I checked her LinkedIn and all that, not to dox her, which we're not going to do. Abbey Sharp is, okay, she has the credentials, she has the job. She has she's legit. She is a licensed dietitian in Canada. The only issue I have with her, I don't know if she's changed her stance since, is because she seemed to have a problem with vegans. As a vegan myself, that's kind of incompatible with my lifestyle. She does a lot of videos about YouTubers and stars, what I eat in a day, or mukbangs. And she's done that over the past. And I had noticed when she would review the vegans, she would tend to be more nitpicky, on them. And it led me to wonder about bias. Okay. But overall, she does have credentials. I don't have any animosity toward her or her channel. But yeah, so was Abby the one who intentionally gained the weight and lost it to say fat people are just lazy? No, Laura Lulu. I know who you're thinking, and I can't remember her name. She was a British right-wing talk show host, blogger, whatever. She's the one who did that, not Abbey Sharp. Abbey Sharp, basically, as far, she stopped short at the health of every size movement, but she's not so critical of overweight people either. You know what I mean? Yeah, allegedly. There is a good vegan nutritionist from the UK, and I linked his channel in the pinned comment. His channel is called Goji Man. He goes by Goji Man on YouTube. And he too talks about other YouTubers, mainly in the vegan community. And yeah, he did do an Amberlynn Reid video. He basically stays in his lane. And I'm going to get to him in a second. But all this to say, Abbey Sharp does her thing when she comments on YouTubers' food and their mukbangs. She pretty much stays out of drama, keeps to her own lane. Except she went down a rabbit hole because apparently very much of her audience for some time had requested from her that she review some of Amberlynn Reid's mukbangs. And you could tell she was kind of nervous about that, maybe even reluctant. You'll see for yourself shortly, you know what I mean? She was leaning toward health at every size for a while, but she has pulled back some, Christina. Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, she has absolutely pulled back some from that. Nikocado was way healthier, eating only fruit than ever. Now he is eating only Mickey D's mic drop. That pretty much, Shady Booty, pretty much. So I thought it was interesting. Obese has reacted to Abbey Sharp's videos before, and while Obese does not condone fat shaming or bullying or ridiculing in any way. Okay, he's just nice that way. He also is clear, and he's quite clear that he is not about health at every size at all. Okay, he's quite clear about that. So I think maybe from that end, he might have found himself at odds with Abbey Sharp from time to time. You know what I mean? So, anyways, okay. So, anyways, Abbey Sharp in her comment section, I bet she regrets doing that video reviewing Amberlynn Reid. I bet she regrets it now. the comment section turned into a cesspool. Like I said, Abbey Sharp pretty much keeps to her own lane, and tries to stay out of drama, although it's a little difficult, even if you're trying to comment from the point of view of your own expertise. And someone like Amberlynn Reid, I think we all know that she is just so polarizing that it's difficult. I bet she regrets it. You should see the comment section, people bringing up Amberlynn's alleged sins from like 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. Like, I don't think that's what Abbey Sharp was interested in at all. I think she was just interested in reviewing the food. No, she's not a doctor, Frauk. She is not a doctor. No. Just to please the DC media. Excuse me. Just to please everybody. Hey, Beckaroo. Just so you all know, no, she's not a doctor. Neither am I. Neither is Obese to Beast. To be honest, I'm not sure what Obese to Beast's credentials are. Maybe you can let me know in the chat, anybody who knows more. Is he a personal trainer or fitness coach as well? Does anyone know if he is? Or even if he's into kinesiology or whatever? Okay. Yeah, they were bringing up that stuff from years ago, Michelle, ad nauseum, and it's like, it was neither the crux, neither here or there for what the subject matter that Abbey was talking about. So I find that odd. This is a group of people. Once again, they're trying to push Abbey to hate, and Abbey, to be honest, that's not where she's at. That's not where she's at, and that's not what she's about. She's about using her own expertise to provide suggestions or critique about food. You know what I mean? He is a fitness coach, huh? Or a consultant? Okay, that's fair. Can't get over the fake Panera Bread Sammy scandal. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. So went back to JC like nothing happened. Okay. Alrighty. So it's an old sketch from a blog, Hyperbole in Half. It's called I Love It Till. Okay, cool. So without further ado, we'll start the reaction. Once again, like I said, I'm not going to react to the entire video. But before I do get to the video, it does remind me a lot. Last year, Goji Man, like I told you, the British vegan nutritionist, okay, he did a reaction to Freely the Banana Girl. As a vegan myself, I don't take ownership of Freely the Banana Girl. Yes, the vegan community on YouTube has their drama or had their drama. There's drama in every community. The vegans were no exception. Freely the Banana Girl is known for some very strange things. She likes to peddle her cookbooks. She once was more YouTube famous, if you will, for lack of a better term. Right now, she's pretty fizzled out. But last year, she tried to come back by trying to stir up drama. She was like basically going to every mukbanger and reacting and like, why aren't you vegan? Why aren't you following my diet? And why don't you buy my cookbooks type of thing? It was ad nauseum. Just switch over a certain YouTuber, whether it was Nikocado. Yeah, but she's not as famous as she used to be, Michelle. I can't stand Freely Bouncy Ball. Yuck. Freely is way too sick. Yeah, as a vegan myself, okay, I don't own her. I don't associate myself with her, and I think a lot of vegans would agree with me. We don't really want to associate ourselves with Freely the Banana Girl. Anyways, Freely the Banana Girl, of course, was nasty and all that, nasty, just nasty. And Goji Man was basically reacting, saying how Freely was nasty, not just to Amberlynn, but basically how she was overall. Like, this is not how you this is not how you try to convince people to our way of life, and a bunch of stuff. And of course, Freely is full of misinformation. If you want advice on how to become a vegan, you don't turn to Freely the Banana Girl. Save your money. Do not buy her do not buy her books. But anyways, I remember Goji Man, like, he's using his expertise. He he may react to YouTubers, but he stays in his own lane. But once again, he got the comment section barraged, like pretty much identical to what Abbey Sharp got, bringing up Amberlynn's sins from years past and the whole condescension. Oh, but you don't know Amberlynn. But the thing was, if anybody saw, if I can find his video, I'll link it. I'll add that link to the pinned comment below when I'm done here. He didn't really need to know Amberlynn Reed for when he did that video, because he was more reacting to Freely the Banana Girl, someone he was seasoned with. He was more seasoned by, you know what I mean? He didn't really need to know who Amberlynn was. This is the thing these people don't get, these people, they leave the dump on their comment section. These people have no interest in nastiness, or the fat shaming, or the nitpicking. They're just offering their 2 cents from their points of view, much like Shakara Transformations does. She reacts to Foodie Beauty and Amberlynn from the point of view of a bodybuilder / fitness coach. You know what I mean? Consultant. It's sickening that people tub and send money to them to shorten their lives. Well, we're not really here to just talk about that portion anyway, so yeah. But it is an addiction. I can't even finish my mac and cheese right now. These people are defecated, eating their life away. I'm more or less, sadly, yeah. I remember watching that nut just to see what she's about a few years ago. Yeah, I think a lot of people, Banana Girl I don't think will ever change, okay? So she's kind of a lost cause. She's known for her own drama and her own problematic stuff, and she too was a polarizing figure within the vegan community. You know what I mean? She had her own issues with hypocrisy and such. But anyways, we're not really going to talk about them. If I could find that video, I may do a retro react to Goji Man to that video. Let me know later on if you want to see that. You know what I mean? So anyways, let's start with the reaction. Okay.
Whatever they're called, they go freaking hard, dude. Like, they do not play. And so
they don't.
She's probably gotten literally thousands of people to ask her to talk about this stuff.
Review Amberlynn since I began the series, but especially since I did my review on Nicocado Avocado. So similar to Nick, whose review you can watch right here, Amberlynn's channel has been the subject of a lot of hate, a lot of bullying, and a lot of controversy, largely to her extreme weight gain and the inconsistent nature of her content. And while it has taken me a long time to figure out how to best approach this video, I want to say that I think I'm finally ready.
I think that it's great that she is, trying to respond in a way that is, what she thinks is best. But I can say from my own experience that it seems like however you respond is never going to be enough, because if you respond in a way that's kind and you try to understand what's going on, and you try to share experience and share knowledge with Amberlynn, people will be like, you don't understand what's going on. Like, she's tricking you. You should have went harder on her. Like, she's just going to use this as a blah, 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 blah. Right? So there's that camp. But then if you go extra hard and you're like kind of mean and you are a bully and stuff like that, which I definitely don't think is the right way to go about it. Absolutely. I have gone the other way, right? Being kind and trying to actually give knowledge and share things. But if you are overly mean and rude, then obviously people are going to be like, you're being overly rude and mean. And so this is a polarizing topic. And as a YouTuber, as a content creator, if you talk about it, there will always be a side of people that wish you talked about it in a different way. That's just the facts.
Yeah, that is John Obese to Beast here. He is spot on. He is really spot on when he says that you can't win. It's like girls can't win and he can't, you can't win. They're using, they speak from the point of view of their own expertise. They're not there for gossip. They're not there to spill the tea, so to speak. They can't win. And it's true. with the former, you know, if you're too kind, you know, they come after you for being, oh, you should have been nasty. And speaking from my own experience, when I reacted to Foodie Beauty's 80s mukbang, and like I said, when I did that live react to Foodie Beauty's 80s mukbang, I wanted to do it, you know, because I was a teenager and a young adult in the 80s. I thought, you know, why not do a video, have a video from somebody who actually lived it, you know what I mean? Who lived their youth through that time period, who was familiar with the trends, who, you know, and I wanted to reminisce, nothing more, nothing less. You know, it just really wasn't that deep. I was just there to have fun, you know, to reminisce, a little Canadian 80s trivia. That's it. And in my comment section, I had people saying, you should have mocked her. Like, why? Why? You know what I mean? You don't know Amber's history. Oh, God. Yeah, and that is a common, and that too is a common refrain, Laura Lulu. That is definitely a common refrain. I watched this vid before. It was on my suggested, at least her OG vid, not his reaction. Okay. Cool, Shady. Is it buffering, people? Is it buffering? Let me know. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm not here to. Yeah, Black Tulip. I don't know about that, so I can't really comment. I honestly can't comment on what he did with Manal Zain on his channel, and I really can't comment on that because I don't know anything about it. Gen X here, yeah. So yeah, I can attest to that. They say, why didn't you mock her? Okay, cool. Thank you, everybody, because someone said it was buffering. Okay. So yeah, that's the thing. And sure enough, you know, Abby got the barrage in her comment section. Like I said, I bet you she kind of regrets it. It's funny how they think they know her, like she shares her life for 24 hours. Well, that's what they expect from her, eh, Kathy? You know what I mean? Okay, that's what they expect. So anyways, let's get back to it.
So today we're going to be taking a look at the evolution of Amberlynn's channel and her corresponding weight gain, my thoughts on her problematic mukbang content, and some of the reasons why dieting might be failing Amberlynn's weight loss goals. We will also once again be joined by eating disorder dietitian Alessandra Magisano to gain a little bit more insight into some of these hot topics.
I think that's cool.
But of course, before we get started, a few quick disclaimers. Number one, the information in this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only, so you should always speak to a healthcare provider about your unique healthcare needs. Two, this video is not intended to diagnose or pathologize Amberlynn. The intention of this video is to simply discuss the themes on her channel in an educational and compassionate format. Three, don't forget to please be kind in the comments, both here and on Amberlynn's channel. Four, a trigger warning that some graphics and discussions may be disturbing to some of my viewers, particularly those who may have battled or are battling disordered eating.
So I just want to say, like, I think trigger warnings are good, and I think that they are necessary, and I'm glad that they exist. But for me, I think it's funny, and I put them in too, but it's funny to me that a video like this, we feel like we need to put a trigger warning when it's like, you saw the thumbnail and the title, so if you're going to be triggered, why would you click on it? Like, I just...
So of course, feel free to skip this video if that sounds like it could be you. And finally, do not forget to subscribe to this channel and ring that little bell so that you never miss out. Okay, so for those of you who are unfamiliar with Amberlynn Reid, she initially,
the three of you guys,
started her YouTube channel back in 2013 to document her weight loss journey. At the time, she was around 368 pounds. However, since starting her channel, she continued to steadily gain up to about 200 pounds and reached her highest weight in January 2020 at 572 pounds. Now, despite trialing...
And I mean, I don't think she's going to show the videos, but I've talked about Amberlynn, and like, she really has, like, if you go back to her, like, I think she still has it up on her channel. If you go back to her first video, it's her explaining why she wants to make this channel. Like, it really was at the beginning, I'm making this channel because I want to document myself losing weight. Like, that was the reason that she started. And like, there's video proof of that.
A variety of different popular weight loss diets during this time, viewers have questioned Amber's authenticity and commitment to her weight loss journey as she continues to steadily gain weight despite repeated efforts to improve her diet.
Okay, I played a lot of this preamble, just so you know where each party is coming from, you know, especially since others will say, well, neither one of them are doctors. Okay. We can see none of them are nobody's misrepresenting themselves or their credentials. Let's turn to the chat. Hey, Roberta, good to see you. Good to see you. Hey. Okay. People act like they have the right to be all up in Amber's private business. I know, huh? Yeah, or they would go nuts or have a camera in your face. Yeah, you would, Michelle. You would. Christina, she can have some privacy. She deserves that. But she shows on camera, people will not pick at. Yes. I don't know if Spirit in the Sky is still in the chat, but thanks for the sub, hon. Oh, okay, cool. Right on. Okay, so you're all making nice. Yes. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to let that preamble fall through so everybody knows where everybody is coming from. You know what I mean? All right.
And start fresh tomorrow.
Now, okay, I'm not sure if she's going to bring it up, but I do think that it's important. Now, for my own, like, when I talk about Amberlynn Reid, I don't really care about the other controversies that are circling her, because when I'm talking...
Exactly. And I think it's safe to assume neither does Abbey Sharp, and a year ago, neither did Goji Man. You know what I mean? Or anybody, or even Shakar Transformations. You know, they're just speaking from the point of view from their own expertise.
About it, I'm talking about weight loss. I'm talking about, like, that's what I care about, right? But there are also other things that have happened in the past, many controversies that have absolutely nothing to do with weight or anything like that. It's more about being kind of a bad person, okay? And those are other things that people have made many videos on. I'm not sure if Abbey is going to go into it, but I do know that that is why there is also this other group of people that might not be the biggest fan of her because of the those different controversies as well. I'm not sure if Abby's going to be talking about those because, again, you know, she's taking this from a dietitian's approach.
As far as I know, no, she didn't. I'm trying to remember. Abby's video itself was about 45 minutes long, and his video is an hour and a half. So as far as I know, no, she didn't really. She was sticking to it from a dietitian's point of view. And frankly, that's all she should be doing, okay? She's running Abby's Kitchen as a dietitian's channel, you know, dietitian stuff, nutrition stuff. You know, she shouldn't spill tea, you know, but that she shouldn't spill tea, nor should she need to, hence she sticks in her own lane usually. It's just that when you dip into certain polarizing YouTube characters or social media personalities,
So I would be surprised if she did bring it up, but maybe she does.
Now, in addition to her weight loss journey, Amberlynn is also known for her mukbang videos, which have really generated a lot of negative feedback. Critics of Amberlynn are quick to point out some of the contradictions of someone in a larger body seeking weight loss who is simultaneously participating in a trend that encourages eating large volumes of food in one sitting. So this begs the question, are mukbangs okay, acceptable, and fun to watch when the YouTuber is generally thin, healthy, or fit? And are they otherwise disturbing and problematic when the mukbanger's nutritional health is already in question?
Dude, and this is like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that she brought this up, because this is the question, and I don't have the answer, okay? Like, but this is the question that fires me up, because who knows? Like, it's so frustrating when people are like, oh, if you're overweight, you can't do mukbangs. I'm like, nah, dude, that's not how that works. Like, how could you just say, like, if you're thin, you're allowed to do this thing, but if you're overweight, you're not allowed to do it, right? Like, I disagree with that. And like people are like, well, YouTube should demonetize, Hungry Fat Chick or Amberlynn Reed or all these bigger people that are doing these mukbangs. But I'm like, dude, I can almost guarantee you that's never going to happen because
Yeah, I'm with him there. For those of you who missed it, I did a live stream over on my channel. I had Nova Ray on where we actually discussed that very question. Should mukbangs be demonetized or even deplatformed? So I'm not going to rehash that now, but I will link that video. I will add that link to that video in the pinned comment below if you missed it, so you can have more detail about it. And you get the added bonus for a couple of cringe reactions. We reacted to a couple of cringe food videos. So when I jump off, I will bring that here. But I like how honest Obese to Beast is. Like when he doesn't know something, he will tell you he doesn't know or he doesn't have the answer to it. You know, there are some others, the ego takes over and they try to formulate an answer. And more often than not, it is incorrect. But I like that Obese to Beast is honest. Do you know what I mean? And that should be commended. I actually like Amber too. And I hope she finds true happiness. Right on, Kathy. It's double-edged sword with who should do mukbangs. Hi, Pure Water. Welcome. Well, look at Nicole Avocado. If you chase the money and do it every day, you get fat. Well, there's some. Well, Stephanie Sue does it every day. And somehow she stays thin. Zach Choi ASMR. How often does he go on? And then there's that competitive eater, Eric the Electric. But anyways, I'm getting distracted. I'm going off topic here, yeah. Most haters excuse the hate for Amber that she doesn't get professional help. I think it's up to her, not to them. If she trolls, as they claim, it's not yeah. I agree with you there. Let's see. Yeah, Roberta. Amber is young. She had a hard start in life. She needs professional help. I like her. Right on. Right on. I'll be honest, okay, and I've always said this. I don't really have anything against her. And if there's one thing I found, there is a total lack of critical thought when it comes to this girl. And it's like people follow a mob mentality, and it's like the broken telephone game, and it's like, well, so everybody said this for years, so it must be true. And it's like, really? You know what I mean? What if it were somebody else, or what if it were you? Different horse of another color, right? That's what, personally, I find Amberlynn's content boring, so I don't watch it. Unless I need to for research for a video, I absolutely must. And that hasn't really happened as of late. But overall, I find her content boring, but I must admit, for a long time now, I have found the girl fascinating. I really have found the girl fascinating. Oh, yes. Okay. So right now, okay. Hey, Cheeky Monkey, good to have you along. I can't watch them if I am hungry because then I want to order bad food they're eating. Yeah, people have various reactions to mukbangs. But anyways, like I said, I will pin that video that I did with Nova Ray earlier this week if you're interested in our take on the whole mukbang thing. But, in short, my view is just like Obese to Beast right here. It's not how things work, Let's cherry pick. Well, you're obese, you're overweight, so no, we're not going to let you mukbang, or at the very least, we're going to demonetize you. But you, let's say a Veronica Wang, for instance, she can do it. And Veronica Wang can and has eaten large quantities of fast food. She's not on every day. She doesn't put up a mukbang video every day. So I don't know how she eats 7 days a week, but you get the idea, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it's true, Michelle. I read an article, and it said mukbangs that help people lose weight. I think if it wasn't the mukbangs, it would be something else, reaction channels, want to be able to criticize her with everything they can. Well, this is true. That's true, Michael B. Sweaty Arse. I mean, Amberlynn doesn't only do mukbangs, okay? She blogs, she does try-ons, she takes us out shopping, whatever is on her mind that day. You know what I mean? So even if she were forced in a position to not do mukbangs, I think she'd be okay as far as her channel is concerned, at least for right now. But yeah, it's true. They do nitpick, like right down to the clothing she wears or how she accessorizes it. Like really? Or how she sets up her kitchen. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyways, before we go on, yes, Michelle, while you're still here, we're going to do Michelle's favorite part of the show. Da-da-da, drum roll. We're going to do Michelle's favorite part of the show, the obnoxious e-begging portion. Yeah, Christmas holidays are upon us. Yeah. So if you wish to support the channel, you may do so through PayPal. Or you can check out my merch store. Yeah. You can check out my merch. It would make cool Christmas gifts if I do say so myself. Yeah. Yeah, I knew you would approve, Michelle. Let's face it, she really doesn't do mukbangs. It's more of an eat with me videos. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly, Kathy. Crowd goes wild. All right, Michelle. Yeah. Yeah. And also, I have a Discord server if you haven't joined already. What are you waiting for? You must be 18 and up to join. We have rooms to suit all tastes. Anything from sharing your recipes, politics, the venting corner, So, yeah. And there are many in the chat who are members of my Discord. And also, we're pretty drama-free. We're pretty well-behaved in our Discord server. Yeah. Hey, Harry, nothing. Good to have you along. Just concluded the obnoxious e-begging portion of the show before we continue with the reaction. So, yeah. Without further ado. So, let's continue on with it.
YouTube, if they are going to they would have to say themselves as a company, you're not allowed to do mukbangs because you're too overweight. And I just don't see that happening. I don't see it happening. Now, there's a difference when you are someone like Amberlynn who has made her whole channel about wanting to lose weight, and then you start putting out mukbangs where you are eating thousands and thousands of calories. Now, of course, those people that are following you that were excited, that are invested in you losing weight, they're going to be disappointed in the fact that you are now eating thousands and thousands of calories, and you are monetizing those videos, you are making money on those videos, and you're basically, it feels like, and I know because I've had people explain it to me, it feels like a slap in the face because you were invested in this person. Now, should you feel like it's a slap in the face? I don't know. Like, people get invested in people they watch online.
I think that's a fair answer he gives, because here's the difference. These people have been commenting and nitpicking. They are way too invested in her life, I find, and that's not exactly healthy. Like, for instance, when I left some comments over at Abbey Sharp's video, I got the stupid comment thing. It's like, you're new to Amberverse, aren't you? And I find that so condescending. I really do. I find it condescending. And then there's the usual stupidity. Right, Amber? Yes, Amberlynn. Like, they think I'm Amberlynn, which is ludicrous. It's like, if you just search my name, Straight Talkin' Fedora Chic, you'd see I have my own channel with over 200 videos. You know what I mean? And many of my videos where I show my face and you hear my voice, but no, stupidity or lack of critical thought takes over, But it's so condescending. They were all saying to me, you're new to Amberverse, aren't you? And it's like, no, I'm not. I just don't care enough. I just don't care enough to be, and the only thing is that I've seen the bullying that she gets, and it's similar to the bullying I got most of my life. And that's partly why I do have a soft spot for her. Not enough to be completely invested in her and her life. Yeah, I'm fascinated with her. But again, not completely invested. As far as her weight loss journey is concerned, I just don't care enough about that. You know what I mean? And no one can make me. I'm an overweight woman myself. So, I mean, I'm not that big, but who cares? Overweight is overweight. Come to Montreal for fun. Okay? It doesn't matter. If you're a gram overweight, you get looked at cross-eyed. Trust me. So anyways. Peanut made the comment, there is a thin line between hater and biggest fan. Peter Mon made that comment 2 years ago when he talked about Amberlynn Reid. So yeah, I would agree with that, Laura Lulu. Pure water. We've seen FB cry over mukbangs, how her health is affected by her overeating on and off camera. Money is an incentive. Yeah, well, I think it's more of a vicious circle, pure water. I mean, here's the thing. Let's be real, okay? These women can't work, okay? They're basically rendered unemployable, not just because of their size, because there are plenty of overweight people, obese people even, who do work, who do go out and work, but they both, by their own admission, each, they have their own underlying mental health issues. When I was a mental health channel, still before I rebranded to Commentary, I did a series on mental health and employment and why it's problematic. I have a playlist of it on my channel page. If you're interested in watching that, and maybe you can have a better understanding why people with mental health issues would end up on disability. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, now you get Chantal, who lives in the province of Ontario, and I know Ford has been cutting with the provincial disability payments, and like he's cut all kinds of all things healthcare. I think Michelle can speak to that better than I can, but Michelle in the chat can speak to that better than I can. But I know enough to keep track of what's happening. You know what I mean? 150 reaction channels doing the Lord's work, calling out Chantal and Amberlynn. That's the thing, right? 150 channels, okay, devoted to reacting to the same 2 to 4 obese, overweight women. Yeah. Okay. And Obese to Beast had even talked about that too. Saying how it boxes you into a corner.
Is a thing, right? So this is a really, really interesting conversation that I think is still being explored, but I am very curious to see what she says.
We're going to be diving deeper into these questions later on in the video, so definitely be sure to stick around for that. Now, with all of that said, many of Amberlynn's viewers have repeatedly expressed concern about her size and the implications that this may have on her health and well-being. Now, I can understand.
Okay. Abby is obviously new to this world, so she can be forgiven for saying that. And I think, honestly, someone like Abby wants to think the best of everybody. Okay. They're not okay. She's not as jaded as most of us are, and most of us are who are in YouTube or Twitter land, but she could be forgiven for that. But yeah, I think some might be concerned about their health, but I think most of them, no, they're not, and they've made that clear.
This concern, as we do know that obesity, specifically higher amounts of body fat, may put one at a greater risk of a number of chronic diseases, including cancer. Unfortunately, Amberlynn did.
Now, I think that, man, this might just be me, but I really do feel like Abbey Sharp has like it's been really interesting seeing her I don't know, metamorphosis or transformation from being someone that was, it seemed like for a while was very almost pro health at every size and all this stuff, to where it seems like she is now more in the middle with this stuff, which is I personally feel like is kind of where I am as well, where it's like, you know, do we need to shame people and call them names or anything like that? Obviously not. But the reality of someone being, you know, as large as Amberlynn is, or just being really, really big, like, yo, those really can lead to some negative health complications, right? And the fact that she's saying this, like, this is probably something she wouldn't have said a few months ago. And so I think that it's really interesting to hear this.
Well, it's good. You know, people do change and evolve as they're better informed or they get different information. I think that's part of being human, no matter what your profession is, no matter what your field of expertise is. You know what I mean? And, you know, and I think we can see, you know, both Obese to Beast and Abbey Sharp are well-intentioned, you know, and nobody can take that away from either of them.
Share that she was diagnosed with stage 1 endometrial cancer, which is a cancer in the lining of the uterus. Now, I will say that there are a number of risk factors for endometrial cancers, including age, genetics, and use of certain forms of contraceptives. But research does suggest that obese and overweight women with higher amounts of body fat are 2 to 4 times more likely to develop endometrial cancer. And extremely obese women are about 7 times more likely. One explanation.
Now, I want to make it very clear, like, I think that it's terrible, absolutely terrible and very sad that Amberlynn has been diagnosed with cancer. Like, that really sucks. And I truly don't wish that on anybody. Truly. And so, like, when people are like, oh, it's good that she got, like, I've seen comments like that, like, dude, screw that. That's horrible. That is horrible to wish cancer on someone because you disagree with them or because you don't like their videos or a myriad of other reasons. Like, it really is very, very sad that she has been diagnosed with this. Like, I would not wish that on my worst enemy. I really, really would.
Explanation for this is that excess fat tissue produces higher amounts of estrogen, which has been associated with not only endometrial cancer, but also breast and ovarian cancers. Another possible explanation is that individuals with higher body fat often have increased blood levels of insulin and insulin-like growth factor 1, which may promote the development of some cancers, including endometrial cancer.
And again, all that stuff is really sad, but I want to make it clear, anybody can get cancer, okay? So, like,
yeah,
it can happen to anybody. So
that is true, what he just said. That is true. Okay? Even though we can concede that womb cancer is more prevalent or more of a risk factor if a woman is overweight or obese, it's not the only factor. Sometimes you just got a bad lot in the gene pool. You know what I mean? It's like diabetes, for instance. For me, diabetes runs rampant on both sides of my family. And even when I was at a more normal size in my early 30s, I had to start getting tested every year. Glucose fasting tests, random glucose tests, because of the genetics in my family, the genetic predisposition to diabetes on both sides of my family. So, and I ran into, you know, my maternal grandmother was diabetic type 2, and she was always rail thin. And I saw the pictures of her youth. The woman was never fat, okay? She was never fat, and her cooking was basically meat and potatoes. She was a typical Irish Canadian who lived in Montreal's West End, very white bread, you know, middle class, and it was a meat and potatoes diet, you know, that she had, but she was never fat, and yet she still was diabetic. And I had a friend who had testicular cancer when he was 31, and this was about over 20 years ago. And this was a guy who was living quite a healthy lifestyle. I mean, the guy never even drank soda. Okay, the strongest he would drink would be hot cocoa. He never drank alcohol, never drank coffee or tea or even pop or sugary drinks. And he passed away from cancer in 97 at the age of 31. So sometimes you never really know, you never really can tell. I have met people who were lifelong chain smokers, live well into their 80s, and yet the totally healthy person who never touched anything and minded their health, bam, they get sick with cancer or diabetes or heart failure. Right now, I'm going to turn to the chat. Yeah, I'm going to turn to the chat, see what's happening. Okay. Thank you. I have to get cleaned up and do some errands. I hope you have a good day. I'll see you again soon. All right on. Spirit in the Sky Blue. Okay. Charlie Gold is the worst, especially with her hypocrisy, and she's nasty. We're all bullied and turned into bullies. Cheeky, you would think they would be a little more understanding. Well, no, they're not. One thing that bothers me, that 99% of Hypocrite Nation have mental health problems, and you would think they would be more empathetic. Yeah, that, and a lot of them do suffer from obesity. They do struggle with it themselves, so you think they would be empathetic. And let's give the added bonus that Charlie Gold, by her own admission, much like Amberlynn Reed, she had a similar childhood, similar upbringing, grew up in the system just like Amberlynn did. So you would think her, of all people, would have empathy, but she don't. You know what I mean? So, yeah. The way your head works is God's own private mystery. Rocco Dillon, welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome to the chat. Yes. But no one has the right to bully. Exactly. And it's not helpful. It doesn't work. Very true. You can be healthy and then pass away. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I've seen it happen way too often. And yet people, who lead more unhealthy lifestyles, they smoke or they drink. Those toenails dry yet, sweetheart? We have some dancing to do. I'm not much of a dancer, I'm afraid. She has hate and jealousy in her cold, dark heart. Yeah, you're right, damn Danny. That's unfortunate. God, to put it mildly, it's unfortunate.
So it's just like, for me, I'm not like a huge karma guy, but I would absolutely never wish it on anyone, no matter how healthy I think I am. Dog, that thing can get you regardless. So
yeah, absolutely.
Just steer clear. I want to make it very clear. That sucks, and I don't wish that on anyone. And please, karma, hear me. I don't want anyone to have cancer, okay? I wish it was gone forever and no one ever had to deal with it anymore, okay? Yeah. Make that clear.
But of course, I am not an oncologist, nor am I part of Amberlynn's healthcare team. So obviously, I cannot speak.
You got that, haters? You got that here? Anybody lurking? She's not pretending to be a doctor.
Speak to the root cause of Amberlynn's diagnosis. But what we can say, just by looking at the research, is that there may be an association between higher body fat and the development of some cancers. Now, with that said, since sharing her diagnosis, Amberlynn has also had a hysterectomy to surgically remove the uterus. So I do want to, of course, wish her a full and safe recovery and remission from her surgery and condition. Now, moving on to her.
Yeah, and I do want to make it clear, like, I'm not saying that, being overweight, being obese, all those things, like, of course, those increase your risk. I'm not saying that, like, if you're like obese, you won't get cancer. You will, like, of course they increase your risk. Just like if you're smoking, obviously you're going to have increased risk of lung cancer. Like, yes, of course.
Diet. I do want to start by acknowledging that Amberlynn has shared that she suffers from binge eating disorder and overeating. As usual, it is not my place to speculate about whether or not this is true. And like I said, I'm not here to diagnose or pathologize Amberlynn.
Now, I know that obviously she has to say that because, she is a registered dietitian. You have to be careful. But I would say that through the videos, if you've watched any of Amberlynn's videos, I mean, she is pretty open and honest about, having binge eating disorder. So I would say that from what I've seen, and I've actually talked to her in private.
Yeah, you have to be careful about that. Even Dr. Todd Grande a year and a half ago said the same thing. He is a licensed psychologist out of Delaware. He has a channel simply named for after him, Dr. Todd Grande. And he has said on several occasions that he cannot diagnose strangers on the internet, and nor would he venture to do so. So, there are standards to be maintained here. I'll take Obese to Beast's word on this one, that she has admitted to binge eating disorder. I have heard this too. Like I said, I'm not an avid watcher of Amberlynn's content, and I've already mentioned why. So anyways, there we go.
It definitely checks out, at least in my book.
But rather, the purpose of this video is to review the content on her channel at face value in a compassionate and educational format, so as to discuss some reoccurring themes like dieting and emotional eating. With that said, I really can't confirm whether or not Amberlynn's What I Eat in a Day videos are an accurate representation of what she actually consumes in a day. But we will talk more about binge eating disorder.
Oh, Jeff! Oh my God, I just saw that you were in the chat. Yeah, Yellow Glasses Comedy Productions. Yeah, Jeff is an old friend in real life. He's an old friend in real life. He's a friend of my ex-partner's. Good to have you in the chat. Long time no see. Good to have you in the chat. Hey, Lauren. Good to see you. Okay. I'm glad everybody's making friends. Good to see you here, Lauren, as well. I think HN projects their own self-hatred onto Amber and Chantal. They are just unhappy with themselves. Yeah, I agree with that too, Christina. I do agree with that too. Okay.
I mean, I highly doubt that they are. I highly doubt that, because a lot of times you'll see what she eats in a day videos. She ends up. They are. I don't want to use this word. They're kind of sugar coated, I guess, is the best way to put it. Like, they are. And the thing is, I want to make it clear. Like, this isn't just. Oh, hey, Abby's here. Hi, Abby. This isn't just Amberlynn Reid. Y'all, and I'm sure Abby can attest to this, this is so many YouTubers. Like, the amount of people that make full day of eating videos and they are not being realistic with what they eat, it's an epidemic. It's an epidemic. So many people do it. So that's why when I make my full day of eating videos, your boy's eating out of a microwave because I'm trying to be realistic and show you guys what I'm actually eating. Like, this is, so many people do this. So it's not just Amberlynn. Like, this is a very normal thing on YouTube. Like,
I would agree with him, especially following the vegan community sometimes with their What I Eat in a Day. Some of them, I would say, yeah, that's probably realistic. I don't know. I don't live with them 24/7, so I can't say with 100% certainty. But, from my own opinion, I can say, yeah. And then there are others, it's like, yeah, and you're still alive to tell about it? You know what I mean? And I would agree. Everybody seems to think that maybe embellishing, okay, or leaving out certain details, Amberlynn leaving out certain details of a What I Eat in a Day video, okay, the way a lot of Hater Nation and their commenters and their friends go after it, they make it sound like this is a unique Amberlynn thing, and it really isn't. And you heard it from Obese to Beast. Like I said, you don't have to take my word for it. The man said it himself.
Seriously.
And dieting later on. For now, I do want to take a brief look at what Amberlynn's typical day of eating might look like at the time of filming this video, which, by the way, is subject to change by the time that it's live.
Of course.
Let's start with her breakfast. And a quick trigger warning.
That's fair.
I'm going to be giving some suggestions on how to help optimize satiety for Amberlynn's.
And that's usually how Abbey Sharp does her food reviews, like the Mukbangers and the What I Eat in a Day videos. She will give her own opinion, her own critique from her own expertise, and might offer suggestions on what to substitute, how to tweak things.
Weight loss goals. So if this is triggering for you, of course, feel free to skip this section of this video. So for breakfast on day 1, we've got a smoothie with Greek yogurt, some frozen berries, and some spinach. On day 2 is a bagel with some chicken breast, cream cheese, and some Cheetos. And on day
the sandwich meal, honestly, you guys, that's like my lunch, like 50% of the time. Maybe not Cheetos. Like I have, here, I'll show you. I'll be right back. These are called hippies, but they're basically Cheetos. Like
they're glorified Cheetos. They're made from chickpea base or chickpea flour. They're glorified Cheetos, and they're quite expensive. Yeah. I like it. He comes by it honestly. You see, he's honest. You got you know, you gotta like the guy.
I eat that all the time.
There you go.
So shout out to that meal. It's a good one. Just expose myself. I hope you guys appreciate it.
get some pasta with onion.
I'll admit, I've seen that pasta dish in other thumbnails of the reaction channels. I'll admit, to me, that looks like hospital food. But hey, it's not me that's eating it, you know. It's not me that's eating it, so I personally don't care. But anyways, let's take a look.
Tomato, corn, pesto, butter, and some sparkling lemonade. So
I like sparkling lemonade.
Amberlynn has previously said that she doesn't usually consume stereotypical breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals.
Neither do I. Neither do I, because unfortunately my sleeping patterns have been all over the place. And especially when the issues with my health started in a month or so ago, my sleeping patterns are like so off. So I could eat what is typically a dinner meal in the morning if I'm up and if I'm hungry. And I could eat typically a breakfast type of meal at night. You know what I mean? And the other thing is, I used to work graveyard a long time ago. I used to work graveyard shift when I worked as a dispatcher. And so, you know, I'd be up working all night. I'd be getting up at 7 o'clock in the evening to prepare. And that's my work day starting, only it's at night. You know what I mean? And when I would come home from work, no, I'm not going to be having cereal or pancakes, you know. No, I'm probably, I was eating pasta when I came home from work from my graveyard shift. So yeah, I don't think this is such a unique thing. Let me go check the chat, see what's happening. Yeah, see you, Just Ellie. Amber sucks at cooking, but she tries. What are you going to do? Not everybody can cook, you know? Not everybody can cook. Let's see, go back. I am very blessed. Somehow I've survived. Yeah, right on, Roberta. Right on. Okay. Hey, Kim. Kimmers, good to have you along. Good to have you along. Yeah. Hear that, lurkers. Hear that, lurkers. Sounds like you too, eh, Michelle? I don't think it's that abnormal anymore. You know what I mean? Most of us don't, you know. I mean, 9 to 5, the 9 to 5 world is still, I think, the majority of people's lifestyles. But I think more and more, especially with the pandemic, we are dipping away from that. And as such, you know, what you eat, you know, typically you're going to eat your bacon and eggs at night and vice versa. You eat your, I don't know, your meat and potatoes in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, yeah, she kind of does, but she's lazy with the microwave stuff. Yeah, I would agree. I think a big problem, yeah, I would agree. But here's the thing. I'm not going to judge it either. And I've talked about it, okay, with my own condition. I can't cook stovetop anymore, okay, because I've destroyed pots and pans because I almost set fire to my kitchen forgetting stuff on the stove. So I can't cook stovetop unless somebody is with me. At least I know, you know, how to keep myself safe in order to maintain my independence longer. So yeah, the microwave has become, old Chef Mike has become a pal around here. and my oven. Oh, thank you, Resting Bitch Face. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, please leave a like if you like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. You know what I mean? And I buy a lot, and I buy a lot of frozen prepackaged vegetables myself. Yeah, I do. I do. Largely because buying a load of fresh vegetables, and especially now, I can't really go to the supermarket. And I have my stuff delivered, every 2 weeks or so, and the stuff doesn't last. And I'm alone here, so I'm not going to eat it all like that quickly. I live alone. So yeah, Chef Mike. And yeah, the frozen vegetables. That's how we roll around here. You snuck right in. You sure did. You sure did, Rusting Bitch Face. All right. Onward we go.
Instead, she will usually just eat whatever she feels like in the moment.
Yeah.
Right. I don't necessarily think that meals need to look a certain way based on the time of day that they're consumed. So,
same.
Yeah.
Salads for breakfast sometimes.
There you go.
Come at me. I don't care.
There you go. I love it. All three of us agree. all three of us agree.
So if that's something that works for her and her palate, then it works for me.
Yeah.
With that said, I think there is some room for improvement here to really maximize the nutrition of these meals, which would help keep Amberlynn feeling satisfied longer, potentially curb the desire to binge later on in the day, and boost.
All right, Abby. Well, thanks for hanging out. I'm sure everyone was excited to see you. I appreciate you for stopping by. I hope everything goes well with the kids.
The disease-fighting antioxidants in her diet for general longevity and health. So, for example, she could swap the bag of Cheetos with the smoothie from day one to pair with her bagel breakfast. And this would help cut back on some of the added salt and refined carbs while adding in a serving of fruit, veggies, and extra protein from the Greek yogurt. She could also choose a nice...
And the smoothies I have, her smoothie of the yogurt, spinach, and berries, not much different. A lot of smoothie shops sell it. A lot of the health food restaurants sell it. If my blender worked, which it doesn't, if my blender worked, that's the type of smoothie I'd be making. When the blender did work, that's exactly what I had, except not the Greek yogurt, because as a vegan, I don't eat that unless I would have to use a vegan yogurt. But yeah, I tend to prefer using oat milk for my smoothies. Oat milk is my favorite plant-based milk. But yeah, so I don't think, oh, shocker.
Hearty whole grain bread instead of the bagel if she wants some days,
Yeah.
which provide a lot more satisfying fiber, protein, and maybe some healthy fats to really keep her energy levels more steady.
Doc, and also like bagels, they can be some calorie bombs sometimes. Like some bagels can be like up there.
Also, FYI, when I'm choosing a bread, I do like to look for the words whole grain as the first ingredient in the list.
Me too.
And ideally, I'm looking for about 3 to 5 grams of fiber.
Same here.
And 3 to 6 grams of protein per 2 slices.
Protein, I don't really check so much, no. But the fiber and the whole grain, oh yeah, I do check the ingredients on that. And I check for the whole grain, and I check the nutritional value. I'm not much of a bread eater because, like, again, I'm alone here, and bread wouldn't last that long. Bread would go moldy long before I would actually eat it all. That's how often I eat it. So in my case, I tend to buy a few small rolls if I feel like making myself sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? And I refuse to eat the typical like Palm or Wonder Bread because I'm a texture person. I honestly can't stand that soft, mushy texture of typical grocery store bread. I really can't. So yeah, my bread comes from a bakery and it's more pricey. And as such, it doesn't last as long. So I don't really buy bread around here. But like I said, I tend to go for the rolls more. But when I do look for that.
So that might be a good guideline for Amberlynn as well. Now on day 3, I really like that she's got some veggies added to the pasta, but she could definitely shift the proportions, maybe by throwing in some zucchini noodles in with the regular pasta.
Oh, that's
or
good.
a few extra handfuls of
That's good.
spinach just to up the fiber content.
Yeah.
And maybe also add in some tofu or edamame as well.
I like to add, when I'm making, like, if I make pasta, this might be weird. You guys might think I'm weird, but sometimes I'll just literally throw in like some broccoli and stuff into it, because it doesn't like really taste like anything, but you're getting in that fiber, and you can add in the volume. Because for me, when it comes to, if you're trying to lose weight and you're eating in a certain way, adding volume without adding a lot of calories, like, that is truly the name of the game. Like, it really, really is. And so, take that how you want it.
Especially because a 2015 meta-analysis found that soy intake was associated with 20% lower endometrial cancer risk. She could also swap her pasta for like chickpea pasta, because
I can't stand chickpea pasta, but anyways.
It's got about twice the protein and fiber on average as traditional pasta.
Absolutely. Chickpea pasta, 100%. Shout out to chickpeas.
But I can't
say
stand
that,
it.
Just adding in more protein and fiber to her breakfast meals would definitely help keep them a little bit more balanced and up their staying power to keep her feeling more satisfied until lunch.
Now, it feels weird. Like, it's awesome that Abbey is doing this, but it almost feels like it is a exercise in futility, because, like I said, I can almost guarantee, she said it herself, like, she will make these full day of eating videos, but she doesn't actually, like, that's not actually how she's eating, because later in the night she'll have like a huge binge, which is normal for a lot of people, and then it will you kind of negate all of the work that you did earlier. So this is why, like, when I'm talking to someone that's struggling with binging, that's why I always say, like, maybe look at your diet and try and find ways to maybe add in a little bit more calories, because a lot of people, the reason they struggle with binging is because it's like a cycle for a lot of people. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but this is just my own experience. Like, I struggle with binging because I was over restricting, and then I would binge, over restrict, binge, over restrict, binge. Like, and so
I think that's one of the reasons why the diet industry is such a failure. Because it's so restrictive, and then you're going all of a sudden to almost no calories, and then you get people into the fasting, and you are setting yourself up to binge, no, God, you're hungry, and then you've got more cravings for things you shouldn't have, in quantities one shouldn't have if one were to follow all that, so yeah, I'm with you there.
So it was just this.
And you got to remember, Obese to Beast went through that struggle to lose all that weight himself. So he is in a position, speaking from his own experience, he is in a position to speak on that
cycle that I was on. So once I stopped over restricting, that really helped me with binging at night, because I only ever binged at night, but it would help me with binging at night.
I think that's most of us too.
I was eating a little bit more throughout the day.
And we know also that a Mediterranean-style diet rich in whole grains, fruits, and veggies is associated with lower risk of endometrial cancer. So just something to really keep in mind. Let's take a look at lunch. Okay, so for lunch, day one, she's at a restaurant, and she has some tilapia with cream sauce, broccoli, and zucchini. Looks so good. Day two is just a Luna bar for lunch. And day three is a second bowl of that pasta she had on day one. Now, with her lunch on day one, which is the fish and veggies from Ruby Tuesdays, which looks delicious, Amberlynn also mentions that even though this meal was low calorie, it did help her feel full. And I'm really not surprised by this, because if you guys remember my hunger crushing combo,
she's going to say something about fat. Let me see if I'm right. Let's see.
Want to aim for a source of fat, protein, and fiber with our meals.
Nailed it.
So this meal in particular is getting protein from the shrimp and tilapia, fat from the cream sauce, and fiber from the veggies. So super satisfying, I'm sure. And I also love that this meal is not so like overly restrictive. It's not like, plain broiled fish and steamed or boiled vegetables. We're getting that cream sauce in there to make it a little bit more satisfying.
Dude, and that's so true. Like, when I make my, I know I pause this a lot. It's just how I am. Y'all, if you're not used to it yet, I don't know what to tell you. But like, when I make my stir fry at night, I put in a bunch of veggies, rice, and chicken. And if I didn't put sauce on that, it would be so not good. So like, I put on the orange sauce from Panda Express, and people are like, oh, that has sugar in it. And I'm like, I don't care, man. This helps me eat a ton of fiber, a ton of protein, and obviously I'm eating a lot of carbs.
I'm with him there, 100%. And you notice how whenever Chantal or Amberlynn do a mukbang, one of the things a lot of them critique is the condiments that they may use. If your food is not tasty or it's bland, you're not going to be motivated to stick with healthy food. As he pointed out, he himself might use a fast food orange sauce that might be laced with sugar, or somebody else might use ranch or butter or whatever, maybe not the best for you, but if you're mixing it in with all that healthy, high fiber food, I think you can still benefit from it rather than not being motivated to eat it at all. Know what I'm saying? So yeah. Notice how you never crave binge healthy food. No, this is true. Christina, a daily struggle? It would be dry as exactly. Let's go further up. Restricting could, but she should eat whatever she eat whatever she wants either. Oh yeah, I'm not a fan of hummus at all. I'm not a fan of hummus. I used to be a baker in my 20s and miss the smell of fresh bread in the morning. I used to be a baker too, but like I said, I live alone now, so not really motivated to do it. Using certain seasonings can help, or make your own sauce. Yeah, exactly, but I don't know how good of a cook Obese to Beast is. I think we've seen Amberlynn doesn't really cook, and I believe she's admitted on several occasions that she's not particularly keen on cooking. And again, she's not really unique in that. I mean, my mother, she didn't like to cook. She never liked to cook. I don't think she does still, I mean, what are you going to do?
But it makes this meal taste 10 times better.
There you go.
So I'd much rather put in that little extra sugar that has in the orange sauce if it makes me eat that every night, which it
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to find a motivator somewhere. What's going to motivate? In his case, he loves his orange sauce. For me, I like the vegan pesto. You know what I mean? The fresh herbs and olive oil, garlic, and nuts. It's high in fat, but I like putting it in, to give the veggies some taste,
It does. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
So that really helps with reducing the idea of kind of mental scarcity as well. On day 2, Amberlynn opts for a Luna bar. And while the Luna bar
I don't know what Luna bars are.
Go snack, it's just not likely going to provide enough fuel to get.
I don't know what a Luna bar is, but I'm going to guess that's one of those so-called meal replacement bars, which I don't put much stock in at all. And there is all kinds of science out there saying use it only as a last resort, basically, if at all.
Get her through to dinner. I mean, literally, these have less than 200 calories. The problem is, if we let ourselves get too hungry with low-calorie meals, we're more likely to overeat whatever we can get our hands on really quick.
Yep, exactly, 100%.
So even if she didn't have time for a formal sit-down meal, she could beef this up with a handful of nuts, a hard-boiled egg, and a piece of toast, or some whole grain crackers, hummus, and...
Oh, God, again, hummus. I don't like hummus. I know I'm a weird vegan. I'm one of those weird vegans. I don't like hummus. I do not like tahini. Yeah, I'm also a very picky eater, personally. Very picky. And eggs, even before I was a vegan, I never liked eggs. It was always the smell. And me, if I can't stand the smell of something, I'm not going to touch it.
And cut up veggies. So I totally get that Amberlynn may be looking to choose really low-calorie meals in an effort to lose weight fast. But choosing meals that are just inadequate is a setup for a binge. So we still want to think about getting enough calories, particularly from those hunger-crushing compounds, to get us to that next meal.
This is why when it's so dangerous to play the game of how small of an amount of calories can I eat during the day. Like, that's the game that ends up being played by a lot of people that are trying to lose weight, because it is true, the less calories you eat, the faster you will lose weight. Okay, that's how that works. But if you continue to eat really low calories, eventually, for a lot of people, they start to notice that at night I seem to be eating a lot of calories and I can't stop myself, and like, it's really becoming a problem, right? And then it can develop, like, I wouldn't say like at the start it's like a full-blown binge eating thing, but like it might be some sort of disordered eating. But then slowly over time, if you continue to do it, you continue to do it, it can develop into, you know, a binge eating disorder. Like, it really, really can. And so that's why I don't like when people are like, I just want to eat as low calorie as possible, because it will get you to lose weight quick. But eventually you will be struggling. You might be struggling with these things that a lot of people are. And it's not something that I want people to deal with. It freaking sucks.
And then as for day 3, Amberlynn has the same pasta that she had for breakfast. So again, we would want to maybe bump up the fiber and ideally get some plant-based protein into this meal to make it more filling and more antioxidant rich. And also maybe just add a little bit more variety. So we could switch up the veggies or serve it with like a green salad to get our veggie fix.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about dinner. Okay, so for dinner on day 1, we've got 4 slices of bread with mayo, chicken, and bacon.
Oh, God.
On day 2...
That is a savage meal. Not saying that I want to eat it, because I eat something very similar sometimes. To get the rotisserie chicken, put it on some bread and stuff. But man, that's savage. Hey, props to her for showing that, because that meal, that's not something I would want to show on.
No.
I would want to show on a full day of eating. So shout out to Amberlynn for actually showing that.
It's some macaroni with buffalo chicken sausage and broccoli. And on day 3, it's a bowl of cereal.
Oh, God.
And another bowl of cereal.
Oh, dude. Captain Crunch, dude.
That cereal it's true, that cereal has absolutely zero nutritional value.
Yes. With the crunch berries?
Cereal.
I don't like
spring
it.
rolls, and then 6
Colored
Oreos.
sugar.
So again, we're seeing a variety of different types of meals that don't necessarily fall into the...
Here's where I fall at odds. She talks about the sausage, okay, that was in that meal. And the World Health Organization came out with a study in 2015, or a report of sorts, that listed processed meats, that's sausages, your deli meats, bacon, okay, as class 1 carcinogens. It was classed the same as cigarettes and asbestos. And I'm surprised that more dietitians and nutritionists have not gotten that memo.
Standard dinner.
Oh, and the link to that will link to the World Health Organization. It's in the pinned comment below if you're interested in seeing for yourselves. Don't have to take my word for it. Just see it for myself. I realize it's controversial.
Category, which is totally okay. And as you guys know, I am not into food rules, even ones that say you can't have cereal for dinner. I mean, like this video right now, if you love breakfast for dinner, or like Brinner. Brinner, I guess.
Brinner.
Right? Yes, please.
Well, I guess I don't like it, because your boy does that. All right, here we go.
Yes, please. Anyway, so on day 1, we've got those sandwiches with mayo, chicken, and bacon. I like that there's more protein in this meal, but we would definitely want to see some veggies or like a simple side salad, just like balance things out.
100%. Side salad, when you eat, when I'm not being a piece of garbage and having a bunch of chips on the side of my sandwiches, side salad is dope.
I also think that maybe we could go for either the mayo or bacon, since there is already a lot of saturated fat in this meal. And that doesn't mean we need to skimp out on flavor or fat or even reduce the calories. We could,
like I said, I would argue, given what I learned from the World Health Organization and their 2015 report regarding processed meat, which bacon is a part of, is definitely one. If you have to go for one of the evils, I would say mayonnaise is your way to go.
totally swap the mayo for like avocado and the bacon for some flavored
Avocado is
tempeh
good.
to boost up the plant-based protein. This is particularly of interest for Amberlynn because research suggests that higher saturated fat intakes are associated with increases in endometrial cancer risk by 60 to 80%.
Now, I think that it's really good that these videos exist, like Abby is talking about this, because I'm gonna be honest, and hopefully it's very clear. I am not a dietitian, okay? So when it comes to things like, you know, dealing with cancer and like having a specific diet because you have cancer, if you came to me and asked me, I'd be like, I don't freaking know, I have no idea. But the fact that Abby is here, she is a dietitian, she can probably, you know, speak to, you know, the Amberlynn Reed's like actual doctor that deals with cancer. I don't know what the name of it is. But then they can work on something. Like I would be like, I don't know what you're supposed to have, what you're not supposed to have. Like I could give something that would be completely wrong for their situation, right? So that's why I don't like to tell people like what you should eat or what you should do. I'm always like, yo, this is what I do. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't do what I do. Like,
okay, I'm gonna speed through this a bit. Okay. So I think we've gone through the food talk
in these videos, okay? So I'm sure that there are people that are like, oh, you're being ridiculous. Of course she's eating too much. Just look at how big she is, right? Yeah, okay, fine. But again, like what she said in the beginning of this video was, we're going to look at what I can see in these videos, right? I'm sure, like Abby, I don't think is a stupid person. I'm sure she can put 2 and 2 together and be like, okay, obviously this is not what she's eating every single day. Like, most people can do, but again, it's like, let's look at what these videos are being put out.
Exactly, but you know, especially Abbey Sharp as a registered dietitian, with a license. Okay, she has a whole other standard to follow regarding her channel, and she has certain responsibilities. Now, yeah, even through her own expertise, she can say, yeah, she's not exactly telling the whole truth and nothing but. But at the same time, she can only report what she actually sees. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying here, but she can only report what she's actually seeing.
What the audience is being shown as to what she is eating, right? That's all that she can do.
In fact, at times, they might just not be big enough. And that can set you up for a binge really quickly.
And that's what I've been saying this whole time. And I know people are like, well, that's ridiculous, not enough. But I'm telling you, if you're struggling with binge eating and you're eating 10,000 calories on a binge at night, like, yeah, of course, if you were to eat a little bit more and you didn't have that binge, you wouldn't have eaten that 10,000 calories at night, right?
It's true. If you were full and you were eating the food that was not just, you know, tasty or whatever, enough to curb cravings, but also, you know, just to have you satiated, and that's important, because if you're satiated, you're gonna, you know, logically, I guess one would have less of an urge to binge at night. And although, unless of course you might suffer from binge eating disorder, and that would be a different ballgame altogether. But I'm talking, and I guess that they're also talking about your average individual who may not have, you know, a BED, but just might enjoy eating food a little too much, or they have simply have a large appetite.
Like that's the name of the game. Don't get yourself to a point where you are so hungry that you end up doing that binge, because that binge
biscuits and gravy, huh?
It 100% will.
But we do have some generally balanced meals to work with. There is, of course, some room to optimize the nutrition in some of Amberlynn's meals, particularly to ensure that she is satiated and then not setting herself up for a binge with inadequate calories at meal times, and also to make sure that she's getting in the antioxidants for cancer prevention.
Yep, agreed.
So, for example, adding in extra nutrition from protein and fiber would help to make her meals more satiating, keeping her blood sugar levels in check, and of course, helping to keep her fuller for longer without adding in a ton of calories, which may potentially reduce the urge to binge later on in the day. Also, focusing on lots of colorful fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans, and soy protein may help to reduce her risk of future cancer. But again, these videos are just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay, we're going to fast forward a bit.
Significant role in their psychological and their physical health.
Whoops. I should have put timestamps on this.
Are unhealthy regardless of size. Repeatedly eating large amounts of highly processed foods in one sitting can lead to increased blood pressure and blood sugar, water retention.
That's what we hear. That's what we hear.
Flora, and dysregulated mood. But it's very clear that the negative public perception of Amberlynn's content is unique because of her size.
Yeah.
Again, so I don't disagree with what Abby's saying here, but again, I think that there is more to it than that. I do think that there are like some, genuine like fat haters that are in that community that just are mean because she is overweight. I truly believe that. Okay, like
that's the majority of her comment section. Actually, it's all weight related. The majority of that comment section.
Trust me. But I do think that I'm not sure if Abby didn't know or if she intentionally didn't want to talk about it, but there are other things that have happened in the past with Amberlynn, and there are other things, other controversies, and there are all of these other things that are going on that lead people to have a negative perception. So I don't believe that it's just the fact that she is overweight. I think that there is a lot more that goes into it, but I also do 100% recognize that there are definitely people that it's just because she's over.
Like I said, most of the comment section is about her weight. Now, I've already mentioned this several times, here on this channel and elsewhere. Okay, a lot of the controversies are stuff with flimsy proof at best, And I can't help but think, and I always ask, what if it were you instead of her, instead of Amber? What if it were you? What if it was somebody else? Would you be so quick to believe? Would you be so quick to condemn? You know what I'm saying? So I would say, yeah, I think he's being a kind of generous here, if you ask me. I'm going to come right out, and say it. He might be being a little generous, but I think, the majority, it does have to do with her weight and her failure at diets and her visible defiance. She's an overweight woman and she's going to do as she pleases. She's going to do as she pleases. Now, if you take a look, society has maligned particularly overweight women, and there is a more bias against overweight women than their male counterparts. And there is an Australian study that I linked to in the pinned comment if you're interested in looking at it. It was an interesting study that was done in 2016. So I invite you to take a look at that.
Weight, and if she had all the same controversies and she wasn't, they would not care as much. I truly believe that.
And
I believe that the opposite holds true. Let's face it, there are far more problematic YouTubers on the platform. There are YouTubers that actually harm other people. Amberlynn, at the end of the day, who does she harm besides herself? Do you know, who does she harm besides herself? I would argue that, there is some weight bias going along. There are people, like I said, and I can name them off. There's Eric Zink, there's McHenry Cruiser, there's MFW, who actually are harmful towards others. Yet they don't seem to get the vitriol that she does. They are not as maligned. Yeah, they're critiqued, but they're not as maligned. And certainly those YouTubers, even Nicole Arbour has done some pretty crappy shit to other people, that he has caused harm to other people. And I think even trolling his relationship or his marital squabbles is harmful, to Orland, as well. So I would argue even Nicole Arbour is, worse in that sense. He hurts other people. And there are certainly not 150 channels devoted to reacting to MFW or Nicole Arbour or I'm Jay Station or Shane Dawson or, any of them.
And that's nothing new. Research suggests that society's negative attitudes towards obese people play a significant role in their psychological and their physical health. I get that a lot of people think that trolling an obese person about their weight or offering like aggressive dieting advice might motivate these individuals to adopt healthier behaviors. But statistically, the opposite is true. Research shows that the experience of weight stigma reduces exercise frequency and increases binge eating, unhealthy weight control behaviors, and
I've said this for a long time, and I've linked two other articles, one from the Canadian Medical Association and another one from the Harvard School of Public Health. And they both say, you know, the fat shaming and bullying on fat people and weight bias is actually having the opposite of the desired effect here. So, in other words, the more you're going to bully and fat shame and concern troll, you're just going to send them, you know, to do what they know best in some cases. Or they're less likely to go out and do exercise or whatever. Here's another thing to think about. Okay, they say obesity is on the rise, and now statistically, we have more obese people now than before. But also, fat shaming, concern trolling has also been on the rise. And I've experienced this personally myself. Okay, no one, you know, I've experienced this personally myself. I'm sure many, especially if I found in major urban centers, it's worse. Being a fat person in a major urban center, it's worse. So think about it. All that fat shaming and all that concern trolling and all that effort into nitpicking at somebody. And yet the obesity rate continues to climb. Correlation? I'm going to turn to the chat, see what they say. Yeah, her comment section is ouch. Yeah, exactly, RBFY. How about a month she weighs in? I would not end up posting anything. This is her career, and it's a vicious cycle for her that she caused. MFW, LOL. Well done on the resource, Fedora. Well, thank you. Thank you. And yeah, thank you. So anyways, let's get back to that. It's causing more bad habits and the cycle will continue. Absolutely spot on.
and binge eating disorder.
I mean, I've said this so many times, like trying to like fat shame someone to lose weight. Whenever I talk about this, people are like, well, it worked for me. It helped me. But like the vast majority of people, if you make fun of them, it does not motivate you to work
it's
out.
true.
It just doesn't, especially if you don't
Very
like
true.
working out. If you don't.
And the science backs that. The science out there does back that.
Don't like eating healthy, like having someone make fun of you because of that, it is not a motivating factor for most people. It doesn't work. So that's why when I make these videos, I don't go on here and get all mad and yell at people and call them fat slobs and stuff like that, because it doesn't help. And if you are going to make videos like this and it's going to be under the guise of I'm trying to help this person, but then you are constantly making fun of them, like you obviously aren't actually trying to help. You aren't. Like, so it's just frustrating when people are making similar videos to me, but all they're doing is just trolling and being unbelievably mean. And if we go into, I'm not sure if Abby goes into it, but like there is genuinely a whole subsect of reaction channels that only react to Amberlynn. Okay? That's all they do is react to Amberlynn videos. And then all of them are under the guise of trying to help. God.
Concern, hence the definition of a concern troll. Exactly. And I remember somebody said this in my comment section again on my reaction to Chantal's 80s mukbang video. Someone had told, when they told the same, was it the same person or somebody else? Somebody else who told me I should have mocked her, and and they said, you know what, when we mock her and control, we get her to do what we want, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what they said. Even though it only lasts a few days. Aha. And herein lies the problem with your argument. It may work for a few days and she's complying to your demands, but it's only lasting a few days, and she starts up again. Hint, it ain't working. It ain't working. And if all that shaming on Chantal and Amberlynn or Life by Jen or Hungry Fat Chick even, if that really worked, wouldn't they have lost all that weight by now from the time they began their YouTube channels to right now? Wouldn't they have lost the weight, and wouldn't they? And instead, in a lot of cases, they've continued to gain weight. So, you know, backed by science here, we're seeing this in action.
It's such BS, and it's such a thin veil. It's so easy to see right through it. Like, you are making these videos because they make you money, and the more mean you are, the more nasty you are, the more evil you are, the more views you will get, and the more money you will make. Like, you are not trying to help this person. It's very, very, very clear. And it's, oh man, I hate when people try and say, oh, I'm just trying to help. No, you're not, dude. Like, just be honest. Like, yo, I don't like this person. I'm gonna make videos to, you know, basically bash them every time they upload.
In fact, one study on more than 2,400 overweight and obese women reported that 79% of participants coped with weight stigma by eating more food, and 75% of participants coped by refusing to change their diet.
Yeah.
In addition, weight stigma can also cause psychological stress, which can increase the risk of depression, low self-esteem, and body dissatisfaction.
Yep.
So you can see how this experience may actually perpetuate some of these unhealthy, destructive behaviors. So are internet trolls the reason for Amberlynn's extreme weight gain since she started her?
No, but they're certainly not helping. And yeah, they certainly have to look at themselves in the mirror. They've had a hand in, on some level, you know, they do have to look at themselves, and they have had a hand in this, you know?
Journey online? Well,
like, if people weren't constantly nitpicking at her, would she have gained 200 pounds? I don't know. But my argument is they certainly haven't helped, and yeah, they had a hand in it. And again, science backs me up on this.
According to the research, simply by looking at the comment section of even just one of her videos,
Okay, can you hear me now? 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 All right, good. Okay, sorry, I probably forgot to unmute my mic. All right, let's go back a bit. All right, let's talk to the chat a bit. Yeah, I definitely watched one of Amber's first videos, and it kind of broke my heart. She was a slightly overweight, adorable, bright-eyed young woman. Still no audio. Okay. RBF, she was more willing to stick to her diet too. Yes. Okay, good. We're back. All right. Okay. I have said earlier too today they are kind of the cause and the insults don't help. No, they don't, Michelle. They don't. And the science doesn't help. And the science backs me up on this too. All right, let's back this up a bit. Sorry about the audio. I'm going to put some timestamps in this video. Okay. All right, here we go.
Of even just one of her videos. I would say that this is a real possibility.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. This is why, I mean, dog, I'm getting freaking heated. This is why I talk about, like, if you are going to make a channel that is dedicated to you losing weight, I'm always like, I'm not saying don't do it, but really, really, really think about if that's something you really want to do. Because you might end up getting some support, but it's very sad, but it's just the fact of the matter that if you end up losing weight and then you start gaining some back, people are freaking ruthless, dude. Like, they are so mean to people that end up gaining the weight.
And all this is true. And we've seen the comment section for Amberlynn. We've seen the comment section. Even Hungry Fat Chick. There are these awful, horrible comments. You start a weight loss journey online and boom, you falter. It's like the sky fell down. You know what I mean? Trust me, there are worse things in the world that are happening now. If you're going to be invested in somebody's online weight loss journey, especially in this day and age, and that's why I would, and I've said this before, that's why I would never put a weight loss journey online.
The weight back, like, it's crazy, dude. Like, it really, really is. And it really does end up pushing people over an edge. It makes people not want to lose weight anymore. It makes people ashamed of themselves. Like, so if you are going to do it, I'm always like, make sure you really think about it and make sure it's something you really want to do, because it really has there's a lot of bad things about it. There's a lot of good things about it, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like, there are some bad things about it.
Oh, hell yeah.
And considering that Amberlynn's weight gain and mukbang behavior has become so ingrained in her online identity, she might feel that it's understandably a really difficult pattern to break. Now, while my own personal and professional experiences see mukbangs as often really problematic, I'm also totally open to the possibility that they may play a therapeutic role for Amberlynn. In one of her videos, Amberlynn mentions that eating in front of the camera just actually increases her awareness around what she's eating and allows her to eat at a more slow pace and a more mindful pace compared to how she might eat off camera, which is usually in front of the television. Because of this.
Oh, dude, yeah. When I'm eating by myself, I eat so unbelievably fast.
Yep.
Like, it's crazy. Also, Crystal, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you.
This is true. And I don't think we're alone. I don't think they're alone in this. I think most of us are like that. You're alone and you're eating. You're going to eat faster than, say, if you are eating with somebody else or you're eating with other people. Because while you're at a dinner table, having a communal dinner either with the family or with your friends, it's not just the food, it's also the social aspect of it. So you're actually conversing with each other. Unless you grew up in one of those super strict households where nobody talks at the dinner table. And yeah, there are those weird super strict households that do that. But most of the time it's the, it's the act, it's the whole tradition of the family table or eating with friends. You're not just there to eat, you're there to socialize. You're even if you're out on a date or you're, with your significant other, you're socializing with each other. So you're not eating as quickly, obviously, because you're going to be talking a lot. You're going to be socializing a lot. So you're not going to be eating as quickly.
You're awesome.
Yes. She states that she actually often ends up eating less on camera compared to when she's eating when nobody's watching.
I can believe
I
that.
think part of that is because
I can believe that.
Like a lot of people, when you feel like someone's watching you, you're like, they're probably going to judge me, so I should probably eat a little bit like slower. Or like,
yeah, and here's the thing. I live in Montreal where people think anorexia is a healthy lifestyle. No, I'm not kidding. This is why, even before the pandemic, I won't go to a restaurant by myself. Okay? Because I get gawked at. I get the looks. You know what I mean? And heck, I'm eating in a vegan restaurant because being a vegan even. And I still get the looks and the gawking and, and I can live without it. Honestly, I can live without it. So unless somebody is coming with me, and I think, and I've seen this happen, and I've talked about it with other overweight women here in Montreal, and they've experienced the same thing. Unless they're with someone, going to a restaurant alone, or they're seen out in public eating alone, the gawks, the stares, the whispers, yeah.
Eat a little bit less. Like, it makes sense.
And there's a few reasons why this might be. For one, it may be that her audience gives her a sense of accountability with her weight loss goals. Now, accountability is an important element.
Okay, like I said, I'll give Abby a pass on this because drama is not what her channel is about. It's strictly for, educational purposes, information. But accountability, calling somebody a sodium-filled whale over and over again, or calling them a cow or a pig over and over and over again, we can call that accountability.
In a lot of weight loss programs, and also in eating disorder recovery plans, in an effort to maintain some structure around food and normal eating behaviors. In the context of disordered eating behaviors, which is what I would characterize some of the mukbang binging to simulate, the feeling of being watched by followers on YouTube is kind of similar to what might happen in real eating disorder recovery programs where meals are supervised by a member of your treatment team.
I've never been in an ED clinic, so I'll take her word for it. But sometimes it can have the opposite effect. Take, the Steven sushis or the Nikocado avocados. All right, not only do they eat the large quantities of fast food and high fat and high sodium, high sugar meals, but their table manners are atrocious. I mean, heck, Nova Ray and I reacted a few days ago in that video. We reacted to a new one on the scene called Mukbang Mermaid. Now, I don't think the individual who plays Mukbang Mermaid takes themselves seriously. They're playing a caricature, But, the table manners are atrocious. So they eat a lot of food right there at a sitting. And even Chantal, to a degree, I mean, we have seen her with the bodily functions, which honestly, I can live without. I can honestly live without. But yeah, I mean, overall, what they say is true. Someone like Amberlynn might decide to eat less on camera, and then the real binging would happen off camera. And I say that would be more the norm than the Nikocado avocados, the Steven sushis, and even the Chantals to a varying degree.
That's interesting. It's something I definitely didn't think of.
We also know that most eating disorder behaviors happen in private. So it is statistically unlikely that she would invite us, the viewer, to witness an extreme binging episode. Now, the other
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like, I'm not sure how many of you guys have dealt with like binge eating stuff, but like when you deal with that stuff, like there's such an intense shame that comes along with it that like the thought of anyone even like finding out. That's why when a lot of people binge, they hide the wrappers, they hide the food.
Yeah.
They even like
So
some people
true.
I know like, well, they'll eat something and they know that like a family member
Yeah.
is looking forward to eating that thing, so they'll wake up early in the morning.
It was the same thing, and it's not just food. Let's take it to addiction, for instance. If you're addicted to dope, you're an alcoholic. Okay, and then you're gonna get your fix, or you're gonna go on your drunken binge, unless you're MFW, and that's a whole other kettle of fish. That's a whole other train wreck altogether. You're going to tend to do that privately. An example, would be hang on. Yeah, the mermaid guy was funny. I don't know if that's a guy or a woman, honestly. But yeah, that was funny. But yeah, back to the thing, the drinking, I mean, my father drank to the end. He drank to the end of his life. He had cirrhosis of the liver. He had cirrhosis of the liver, and he was, as going on his illness, his liver was failing him, and he was continuing to drink. And even though my mother knew, okay, because she would drink along with him, toward the end of his life, when my mother was cleaning up his stuff after he passed away, my mother was cleaning up his stuff. She had found a lot of empty Mickeys, that were hidden. So all this to say, yeah, a lot of them would hide. A lot of them would hide it. So I don't think it's much different. Yeah, you're right, RBF. EDs are a form of addiction. And yeah, EDs, a lot of the symptoms, a lot of the behavior do mimic that of drug or alcohol addiction.
They'll go buy it and they'll replace it because they don't want them to know that they did that, right? Like shame is a huge part of it, or someone finding out.
That's true.
So it's very unlikely that you would have like a really bad binge while you are being watched, like while someone is watching you eat.
Potential benefit of the mukbang format is that Amberlynn herself suggests that eating for the camera encourages her to eat more mindfully and slowly, both of which are healthy eating practices. So research suggests that eating slowly without distractions allows your body more time to release satiety hormones. In contrast, eating while distracted, like watching TV or on your phone, can lead to faster eating and eating past the point of fullness. In fact, one study found that TV watching while eating increased food intake by up to 71%.
Geez, 71%.
And how many now eat in front of the TV? I think we're all guilty of it.
But also, Abby, stop coming after me. You can't stop me from watching YouTube videos when I eat, because I promise you, I will not eat anything unless I'm watching something. Okay? Unless I'm out to eat with someone. But if I'm eating by myself, your boy is gonna find something to watch on YouTube. Yeah. And I don't care what anyone has to say about it. Okay, you can't stop me.
Research has also
I love his honesty. I really love his honesty.
shown that mindfulness can be a useful tool to reduce emotional eating and the frequency of binge eating episodes, both of which Amberlynn claims she struggles with. So one study found that obese women doing mindfulness exercises decreased their binge eating episodes from 4 times a week to 1 to 2 times a week. That is powerful stuff. So I can't say that mukbangs are a hindrance to Amberlynn's weight loss efforts. And it's very possible that the blatant weight stigma and trolling in the comment sections of these videos play a larger role.
Yep.
But is an online troll really the only cause of such a dramatic shift in weight over time? So I want to talk about
No, I would say probably not.
some of the other potential contributing factors.
No, but as mentioned, they do play a significant role. And yeah, on some level, they are going to have to look at themselves in the mirror.
To Amberlynn's public weight gain. According to Amberlynn, she's been classified as overweight for as long as she can remember and was just 11 years old when she first went on a diet. So since then, she says that weight loss is kind of on her mind 24/7, and she really doesn't.
I have no trouble believing that. For a while, I've been that way myself. I'm not that way anymore because I come to ask myself a very important question. why do I hate myself so much? Is it because I really dislike it? Or is it because society tells me I have to hate myself? And my conclusion that I came to was the latter. It's because society told me to hate myself or hate what I look like. I have hypothyroidism, so already, and right now, we found out through my recent blood test that my Synthroid dosage stopped working. And so I started gaining weight again, so it stopped working. So very recently, the dosage was increased slightly. We're going to see how that goes. We're going to see how that goes. So anyways, I'm not going to punish myself just for some weird societal beauty standard. And I think anybody who feels like they have to be a slave to societal beauty standards, I find that sad.
Know what life is like without worrying about her weight. She even has a video where she lists 100 reasons why she wants to lose weight, which includes things like reducing her risk of disease, as well as engage.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so freaking sad, man.
It is.
I don't care what anyone says.
It is. It is.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
And seemingly normal experiences like dancing, traveling, and walking on the beach. So despite people's skepticism of Amberlynn, I think it's pretty clear that weight loss is something that she strongly desires, and she recognizes that her weight gain does have implications for her quality of life. So why is weight loss so hard for Amberlynn to achieve? Well, according to the literature, it can be really challenging for a lot of people to achieve and maintain weight loss long term.
Dude, I mean, it's freaking hard, dude. Like she's honestly being like pretty chill about it, but like losing weight, especially you guys, like when you are the size that Amberlynn is, it's hard. Like that is a really difficult thing. And like, so it's something that I try and make very clear. Like if this is something that you struggle with, like you're not alone in that. Like it's really, really hard to lose weight and keep it off. Like that's why I get so frustrated when people are like, just lose weight or just do this. It's like, dude, it is not that simple, dude. Like,
thank you. It's like, even my own mother, she would say, well, why don't you lose weight, why don't you just lose weight? Gee, why didn't I think of that, Gee, why didn't I think of that? Here's the thing, okay, and I've talked to other people with hypothyroidism, particularly women with the condition where weight gain and is a large symptom of the condition. And if someone were to talk to me and they say, well, I'm thinking about losing weight, particularly when you get older, when you're hitting into the middle age, like yours truly, you're hitting about perimenopause, I would say, insist on getting your thyroid checked. And it's a simple blood test. It's not hard. The doctor just checks the box off next to THS or TSH, forget what the order of the letters were, and T3-4, or T3-3, just check off the boxes. It's pretty much a simple blood test. It's, get that checked. And then there are other conditions, and now that's coming to the forefront: metabolic syndrome, polycystic ovary. In the case of men, low testosterone levels. There are all kinds. Use of SSRI antidepressants, use of steroids like prednisone. There's a whole range, and that should all get checked out before Cushing's syndrome. I mean, I have a friend with Cushing's syndrome, and I learned of her own struggle and how she gained weight without knowing about it, without knowing what happened, really, because she wasn't doing much different in her lifestyle. And it turned out she had a tumor in her pituitary gland. And it turned out she had Cushing's syndrome as a result. So I think, are these diseases really rare? Because that's what a lot of them like to dismiss them as. Are they that rare? Because it's already been shown there is weight bias even in the medical community. you know, you go to a doctor, you know, and they talk it down to just lose weight. We got to remember that doctors, as a rule, unless they take an interest in it, they don't have much nutritional training. Okay, when they go to med school, and that's something you got to. That's something we got to remember. That's why That's why we have dietitians. We have nutritionists. Okay, so I would say, you know, insist on it. You know, get your thyroid tested or get whatever else you need tested, because there could be something, you know, a complication involved. And so is all this to say, you know, are these conditions really that uncommon if they're not being tested? You know?
It's hard. It really is unbelievably difficult. Unbelievably difficult. I believe it's possible. Obviously, my whole freaking channel is based on that.
Hey, Lauren.
Like, to just be like, oh, it's easy. Just do it. Whatever.
Thank you.
It's not that simple, man. It really isn't.
Even the most liberal research tells us.
Oh, thank you, Lauren, for, yeah, thank you, Lauren. Yeah, so TSH, thyroid stimulating hormonal issues, are increasingly common and affect our weight a lot. There was such a thing as subclinical hypothyroidism as well, not bad enough to medicate or necessarily show positive on tests, despite causing symptoms in some people. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that, Michelle. My grandmother is funny and puts a bunch of food on the plate and then says, don't eat too much, you will get fat. Oh my God, really, Michelle? Oh my God. I remember, you know, both my grandmothers, it was the total opposite. My maternal grandmother fed us, you know, when we were kids, like a lot of food. My brother and me fed us a lot. Whereas my paternal grandmother, when she would serve food, okay, it's like if she would serve dinner, it's like an hour later you leave and it's time to order a pizza. Okay, like because the portion she would serve were barely fit enough for a bird to feed a bird. So, you know, it's like an hour later, let's go order the pizza. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely right. A lot of these conditions could run in the family, Michelle. Yeah. You don't you don't eat in front of the TV, Lauren? Watching a video on your phone XD. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Italian grandmothers are like that too. That's true too. I remember, what was it? I went to a coworker, a former coworker, and I went to her family's home for dinner once. Mother was a great cook, you know, traditional Greek food, and there was a lot of it, and served a lot. And I remember my friend's sister had said, "This is the way of our people, eat till it hurts." That's what she said. The way of our people, eat till it hurts.
That most people who engage in intentional weight loss behaviors, on average, lose and maintain no more than 6 to 10% of their weight. So for somebody who is overweight or obese, they will likely remain in these categories after their maximum realistic amount of weight loss is achieved. We also know that there's a high rate of weight regain after a period of significant
and I've already
weight loss,
talked about this.
Also known as weight cycling.
There we go.
So one study found that individuals typically regain 30 to 35% of their weight a year later. And
so once again, like I said, Amberlynn Reid is an extreme case. So is Nicole Arbour, for that matter. You know, those are extreme cases. Overall, it's really not an anomaly. You know, you go on a diet, you lose the desired amount of weight, and you pack it back on and then some.
Often regain most of the weight.
There we go.
More within 5 years.
There we go.
Now, I don't disagree with, I mean, these are studies, right? I think the thing that's important is that it's the way people have tried to lose weight for so long now. Like, people try to lose weight doing these fad diets, doing really overly restrictive things that aren't sustainable. And like, I don't think that we have really been able to study people that have learned about nutrition, people that have found sustainable ways of eating, because we're so focused on, okay, this person's doing this diet, let's study it. This person's doing this diet, let's study it. When instead, it's not going to be fun to study someone that is just eating in a healthier way and eating, you know, a little bit less calories than they were before. Like, because all of these studies are based on these extreme diets, most of them, not all of them, That's why I think personally that, and this is my own opinion, I could be completely wrong, but that's why I believe that a lot of these studies are skewed, because they are talking about people that are trying these really, really extreme diets.
This may be one reason why Amberlynn regained the weight that she lost, those 89 pounds.
I'm not sure if the studies are skewed, though. I see where he's coming from. I'm not sure that these studies are that skewed. I mean, yeah, I see the whole thing. Don't go on a diet, do a whole lifestyle overhaul. And even then, it's how long, to maintain a healthier lifestyle. How long can you maintain it? You get someone like yours truly who hates the gym, hates working out, and you got to incorporate working out for the rest of your life. Let's be realistic. Somebody who hates the gym and hates sports and hates working out, like yours truly, am I really going to stick with it? Am I really going to stick with it realistically? No. So I can't expect, and I don't think anyone can logically expect someone to do so either, this to say, I'm not sure that the studies are that skewed.
And continues to gain more. This is not to say that it's impossible to sustain long-term weight loss. You can find tons of examples of people who do it every day. And I do believe absolutely that it can be done.
Shout out. Shout out to me and all you guys out there.
However, the data tells us that maintaining significant weight loss for over 5 years is more of an exception rather than the rule.
Yep.
With that said, obesity is a complex issue and cannot simply be resolved by eating less and exercising more. If it were
that simple, we'd all be skinny now, wouldn't we?
For that simple, we probably wouldn't be seeing Amberlynn going on a diet after a diet to lose weight, only to regain it back.
Oh, this is true. She's got a point.
100%.
Also, putting oneself on really restrictive diets in an effort to lose weight often sets one up for a future binge.
Amen.
There we go. Amen.
Amberlynn herself has confessed that stages of restriction and deprivation often trigger her to binge and overeat. This is why the new obesity guidelines suggest that rather than
the Canadian Medical Association
less to weigh less, it's more important to focus more on the root cause of an individual's weight gain and healthy behaviors that they can actually.
There we go. Except where they're going with, they're talking mental health only. And again, I mentioned there are other conditions besides mental health, besides mental illness, that can, things that don't have all that much to do with nutrition or movement, but could be, like I said, you could be on an antidepressant like Prozac, Lexapro. They list weight gain as side effects, as does the drug Seroquel. They're listed side effects. Steroids like prednisone, for instance. And you see people with the moon face that they're taking a drug like prednisone. Mm-hmm. Or if you've got hypothyroidism, Cushing's syndrome, Prader-Willi syndrome, you name it, it goes on. Metabolic syndrome.
Actually sustain.
And focus less on just the number, but focus more on the habits, right? If you're focused on the habits, especially if you're as big as Amber is, if you focus on changing those habits, I promise you, weight will come off. You don't have to focus on.
Yeah, this is where we're going to disagree, I'm afraid, for the reasons I mentioned just before. Okay? Because that's the thing. It's not talked about enough. These conditions and the drugs, the prescription medications that people are on.
Eating a Luna bar that's 200 calories. Focus on changing the habits, and your weight will change. It might not be as fast as you want, but those habits are so much more important than the number on the scale. Like, I cannot put it more clearly than that. Your habits define who you are.
I disagree with that too, to a degree. Okay. There may be some truth to that. For instance, if one is a drug addict, to get money to buy the drugs. They might commit a crime to do so. And then one can be defined as a criminal, I suppose, if one wanted to look at it that way. But here's the thing, the stereotype, for instance, based on people's appearance, okay? And I think that needs to come to an end. We got to start looking at the person. Like overweight women, overweight people, you notice you see the video footage often, with the heads cut off. And it's dehumanizing. It's reducing them to basically, inhuman. And I think you got to look beyond somebody's disability. You got to look beyond somebody's appearance and look beyond, somebody's size. Who are they? Who are these people actually? And no, not the old stereotype that they all smell and they're all lazy and they all do nothing but eat donuts all day. You know what I mean? Really look at really get to know the person, really get to know them. And I'm not just talking about Amberlynn or Chantal. I'm talking about in your real life, people in your real life, really get to know them, Yeah. And let me go to the chat because Let me go to the chat. Hey, Christina. My paternal grandmother was Cajun, and she would literally hover behind our chair so she could fill our plates up as we eating. She was a great cook. Right on, Christina. With her habits are cycling, going over and over. Yep, Italian grandmothers are like that. Runs in my hormone. Yeah, exactly.
One of the many reasons why just eating less doesn't always work is that food is often used as an ineffective coping mechanism to soothe negative emotions. So Amberlynn's documentation of her emotional eating episodes are often peppered with depressive episodes and follow along the typical cycle.
Yeah, but it's not just food. For some people it's dope, some people it's alcohol, you know what I mean? Some people, actually with some people, and we've seen this, thrill seeking,
of guilt, shame, regret, and fear of losing control.
And I think that it's good that she does this and she shares this stuff, but at the same time, like knowing I'm a creator, knowing that if she puts, binge or this thing in the title of the video, it will cause her to get more views. And so again, like this is not something many people have to deal with. Like there's not many people in her situation, maybe a few around the world. But like that would be so hard, you guys. Like that would be so hard to deal with, knowing that you want to lose weight, but also knowing for a fact if you put a video up that shows you binging on a lot of food, it will get astronomically more views. That's tough, man. That's a tough thing to deal with. Am I saying it's right? No, but I'm just saying, hey, the realistic implications of that's a hard thing to deal with.
This is why one of the first steps to dealing with emotional eating is to help identify and differentiate physical and emotional hunger while working with your therapy team to really find other effective coping mechanisms to help manage those emotions. I talk about this in a lot more detail in my video on emotional eating, which you can watch right here. However, I just want to summarize the differences between emotional hunger and physical hunger. Physical hunger develops gradually, whereas emotional hunger comes on usually pretty suddenly or abruptly, often accompanied by some kind of really strong emotion. Emotional hunger often also can drive you towards one specific food, whereas physical hunger
you get a craving,
a little bit more flexible and more open to what's available.
How many of us, we get a particular craving and we must have it now? Let's say, for instance, I crave a pizza with pineapple at the moment, and that's all I want is pizza with pineapple at the moment. Yes, I like pizza with pineapple. Yeah. But, pizza, pineapple, it just, nothing else will do, in that moment, nothing else will do but the pizza with pineapple. So, yeah, there is something to what she's saying.
Hunger often has
usually if you're
really hungry and starving, odds are you're probably gonna eat whatever is on hand and you'll be happy with that.
Physically hungry, it's not like for a very specific, like it is this one thing that I need to eat. It's like, you're just like, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
What sounds good?
Clear endpoint. So you're usually able to experience the onset of fullness and take it as a cue to stop eating. Whereas when you're eating out of emotional hunger, it's often more difficult to feel satisfied or full. And when you don't, it often triggers further feelings of guilt and shame. Now, before we dive deeper into these topics with Alessandra, I want to talk about Amberlynn's current weight loss plan since reaching her highest weight of 572 pounds in January.
Okay,
So-
we're not going to go through that. I want to skip right till the end. Okay. Because this video has already run too long. Okay. This video has already run too long, so let's get her their final remarks.
Insight.
That was a really good conversation. I hope that people stick around and watch that part for sure.
So once again,
I have linked Abbey Sharp's video and Obese to Beast video in the pinned comment below if you want to take a look at those videos in their entirety. Okay, you can take a look at it for yourselves off their channels off their respective channels if you like.
and I'm going to be leaving all of our contact information below if you need to reach out for some one-on-one support. Okay, so again, the intention of this review is not to diagnose or pathologize Amberlynn,
Got it?
but to use her content for educational purposes,
Got it?
to provide you with helpful insights and knowledge on emotional eating and the complicated world of obesity, weight stigma, and binge eating disorder.
Yeah.
I also want to strongly remind you to please be kind in the comments, both here and on Amberlynn's channel.
I think it's a foregone conclusion. Take a look at Abby's comment section. Yeah, people were dredging up old drama from years ago, which, yeah. People didn't exactly pay heed to her request.
Your words are so powerful.
Yeah,
so
this is true.
Please use them wisely.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
We ultimately cannot know what somebody is going through off
Exactly.
camera. So I really do ask you guys to consider if your comments are helpful or supportive, or if they contribute to the weight stigma and discrimination that people in larger bodies are so often subjected to. And on that note, that is all for today's video. If you liked it, be sure to give it the thumbs up.
Okay. And she's right. Words do matter. Yeah, of course. And they comment on things that have nothing to do with her video. Like, what does Abbey Sharp have to do with drama that happened in 2016 or 2017? Let's be honest here. You know, and for all intents and purposes, and the purposes of Abby's Kitchen, which is her channel name, okay, she doesn't really need to know that kind of stuff. She doesn't need to know it, you know, to do her own video, her informational video on nutrition and obesity and weight stigma. She doesn't need to know that, you know. And it was the same thing with Goji Man last year when he was reacting to Freely the Banana Girl. You know, I mean, people miss the point that his sole purpose, he wasn't really reacting to Amberlynn. He was reacting to Freely the Banana Girl. You know, but everybody went into the comment section, even those who claim to hate Freely the Banana Girl and think she's, you know, her diets are a scam. They were willing to kind of side with Freely there. You know what I mean? When it came right down to it, it became like my enemy's enemy is my friend. If I could find that video, I'll link it. And I may do a retro react to it, actually, because I think that might produce an interesting discussion if I can find it, assuming it's still up on his channel. Goji Man's channel is also linked in the pinned comment below. I'm going to try and leave a few timestamps on this video so I can time it. So I can time out the periods where there was no sound, and people can jump in. When they jump in on the replay, instead of watching or fumbling about all the hours worth, they can, you know, check out the topic, you know, the parts that they're interested in. You know what I mean? So this is where 5 minutes left, which I devote to the chat right now. So for the next 5 minutes. So yeah, yes, I'm glad I came into YouTube as an adult. That has lived quite a bit. In other words, not very young. So I'm happy in my own skin, though, trying to get fitter and not feeling the need to attack. Right on. And that's how we should all live, basically. Those are words to live by. And no, it's fair if you don't know. It's fair. Nobody has to have the answers all the time, you know. True, very true. Try to be open-minded. It's good us not being like that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, I just can't understand watching someone that invokes hate in myself. I would just not watch them. Well, yeah, and I think that'd be the healthier approach, right? I think that would be the healthier approach. Exactly. Like, and what's another common refrain I hear? Oh, she frustrates me so because she does her diet cycles. It's like, hey, happens to most of us. Maybe not to that extreme, but it happens to most of us. Okay, the studies back that up. The studies do back that up. And even if she does vlog her life, she doesn't have the camera turned on 24/7. We really don't know. None of us really knows what goes on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, not everyone is so nice, though, and you can't change them. Yeah, I'm not that quick to give up, though, Michelle. I'm not that quick to give up. I'm not that quick to give up. I was taught to stand up for what's right. And sometimes that comes at a price. Sometimes that comes at a price. And some choices are not easy. You know what I mean? Like I said, my opinions are unpopular. I express my unpopular opinions. But just because something is not popular doesn't mean that it is incorrect. Lauren, yeah, I can't fathom giving so much time, precious time and energy to people you despise from afar at that. Weird. Yeah, and those people who say they express frustration at the girls, if that's your main frustration in life, okay, whatever it is that they do, if that's your main frustration in life, I'd say you're leading a pretty charmed life. You know what I'm saying? Like when I get told, well, you're new to the Amberverse, you'll be frustrated. It's like, no, I'm not new. Okay, do not condescend. Do not patronize me. I'm not new to it. I just don't care. I'm not that, I'm not that. I have other things to worry about than whether or not she loses weight or not. But I think the bullying does preoccupy me because it's my own experience as well. Having been bullied for very superficial reasons. So, it's something I can relate to. Yeah. It's something I can relate to. And like I said, I have even bigger frustrations in life. I think most adults have bigger frustrations in life, especially in this day and age, with the pandemic and people are losing their jobs, they're losing their livelihoods as a result. I would think that would be a far bigger worry than whether or not Amberlynn Reed sticks to a diet or not, or whether Chantal eats too much ketchup with her burgers or not. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, damn, I have 100 bigger problems. Yeah, exactly, Lauren. Exactly. And I lead a good life. Well, there you have it. There are more important things in life than someone on YouTube, and I think a bit that's me. Right on, Michelle. Yeah, excellent. You know what I mean? Excellent. And like I said, you really don't like them, and if they frustrate you or trigger you that much, just don't watch them, But no, it's like 150 reaction channels. Oh, my dear Lord. Dear Lord. That's obsessive. Sorry, but that's obsessive. Because I don't think there are that many channels devoted to reacting to the same people over again. Growing up a fat kid, whenever someone was mean about my weight and hurt my feelings, it always led to desire to binge. Exactly. And science backs this up, too. Like I said, I have a couple of articles. I have one from the Canadian Medical Association and the other one from the Harvard School of Public Health that reflect as much. And I'm sure Abbey Sharp linked to some studies over at her channel as well. At her channel as well. Yeah. So I may be going back on tonight and I may not. Depends how I feel. And I'd really rather it be a panel. I'd rather have some people come on with me and actually converse. And if that's possible, it is. If not, we'll see you within the next few days, surely. Within the next few days. And yeah, that is that. And once again, if there is something I promise to link in a pinned comment and I forget, trust me, as many of you know, I have a terrible short-term recall and I will just forget. So just remind me in the comments section if there's a study or a video or somebody's channel that I say I'm going to put in and I forget. Don't be shy to let me know. You know, I'm okay. I'm okay with people letting me know I forgot something. You know, it's just when you mock my short-term recall in such a nasty way, well, that's where I get my, you know, that's where, you know, I'm going to be a bit nipped. You know what I mean? How many people would be out of work if ALR and Chantal quit YouTube? Well, there's that, Christina. There is that. Oh, I'm glad you caught it too. Christina, a lot of channels would have to do their own thing. Oh yeah, heaven forbid, perish the thought, Michelle. Perish the thought. Goji Man. Yeah, his channel I already linked in the pinned comment. I already linked it. Yes, don't forget to leave a like and a subscribe. And once again, the obnoxious e-begging portion of the show. The PayPal link, the PayPal and the merch links, my merch links are in the description box of the video. So yeah, you could support me through PayPal, support the channel through PayPal if you wish, if you don't so desire, or go check out my merch. I'm sure it'll make for some fun Christmas gifts. I think a lot more people, because of the pandemic, will be doing their shopping online. So yeah, take a gander at my merch shop. And also join our Discord server if you haven't already. You must be 18 and up. Group of awesome people in the Discord server, and we have chat rooms different to suit all tastes of conversation and postings. And our server is one of the few that is pretty drama free, and we run a pretty tight ship. So think about joining if you haven't already joined. Yeah. Lots of reaction channels. We collapse if they had to be original and interesting. Obese to Beast mentioned that in another video when he was talking about Charlie Gold. You know, he was talking about that when you box yourself into a corner like that, it's not really a good idea. You know, I'll say it's downright stupid. You know, Obese to Beast is too nice of a guy to say such things. You know what I mean? So there you have that. So yeah, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. They do, true, they get less views and this happens. Oh, thank you, Resting Bitch Face, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they get less views and this happened, and when she took a break or got sick, and as soon as they could jump back into it, they did. That they did. And even Zachary Michael is back into it after he said he was no longer going to be reacting to either one of them. There he is. And him, I don't get why. Doesn't he have a career? Doesn't he have a career already? Why does he need that? You know? I don't know. I would have thought pick your career first. Your actual career first. You know? There are a lot of channels that just, yeah, exactly. They would get screwed. They would, Michelle. Yeah. Be doing not good. Absolutely. 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 So, anyways, like I said, I am going to get to work on time stamping certain parts of it so people can jump in on the replay wherever they like. Just a few timestamps. Yeah. Also, you know, feel free to let me know. You know, if there's a video topic, there's something you'd like me to talk about, let me know in the comments section. Hit me up on Twitter. Instagram, I don't really use it that much, but I am available for DMs on Instagram. You can DM me on Instagram. If you have a topic that you'd like me to talk about, let me know. ZM has a good career and a man. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, you and me both, Lauren. You and me both. Right? And parodies he did to get back into it. Yep. Yep, exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, thanks again, Resting Bitch Face, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. And yeah, if there's nothing else, please take, Zach doesn't really need to do it, I guess. Some idea of fun, though, Michelle. If your idea of fun is mocking somebody who is marginalized or who is less fortunate than you, something's not going right. Something's not going right. You know what I'm saying? Something's just not going right. Yeah. So yeah, take care of yourselves and each other. We are in the holiday season, so it is especially important, especially, during these times. A lot of people are going to be going through hard times this holiday season. Please be sure to take the time out to give, if there's somebody vulnerable or alone in your midst who is at risk, pick up the phone, give them a call, send them a text, DM them if they've got social media to DM them on. Sometimes that can make all the difference in the world in that person's life. Yes, sometimes I can make all the difference in the world. Even ZM gets more coin with the girls. More than his career? I doubt that, though. That's why it's so perplexing to me. But yeah, back to what I was saying. Yep, please take the time to check in on that vulnerable person in your midst, even if it's by phone, DM, text message. Yep. Take care, everybody. I'll catch you all in the next one. Like I said, I may or may not go back on live tonight. Depends if I can get somebody to come on and chat with me. Okay? So anyways, bye for now, everybody, and I'll catch you all in the next one. And thanks for sticking around. Bye for now.